Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey, really, to understand a day that can sometimes feel like just a pause.
Right.
You know, that quiet space between the deep sorrow of Good Friday and then the explosion of joy on Pascha, on Easter Sunday.
hmm
And you, our listener, actually guided us here, suggesting we explore Great and Holy Saturday in the Orthodox Christian tradition.
Yes, a really profound suggestion.
So, we've gathered our sources. Our mission today is to really get into the significance of this, well, seemingly quiet day.
It seems quiet, but it's packed with meaning.
We'll journey from, the symbolism of the Blessed Sabbath all the way to these powerful rituals that capture this amazing idea of joyful sorrow.
Exactly. What looks like just waiting, maybe even emptiness, is actually, well, it's a crucial turning point. It's full of deep theological weight and a unique kind of transformative power.
A day of burial that's also a gateway to victory. That's the paradox we're exploring.
That's it, precisely.
Okay, so maybe the first clue is right there in one of its names. The Blessed Sabbath. Let's unpack this a bit. Why Blessed Sabbath?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? It directly echoes the creation story in Genesis.
Okay.
Just like God rested on the seventh day after, finishing creation.
Right, the original Sabbath.
Exactly. Christ also rests. He rests in the tomb, but it's after completing his immense work of redemption through his passion.
Ah, so it's not just stopping, it's a rest from something monumental.
Precisely. It's a rest from that intense, world-changing act of salvation. He's, in a way, recreated the world through his sacrifice.
Wow.
So that silence in the tomb, it isn't empty. It's charged, you could say, with the power of a completed cosmic work, both creation and redemption.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. This rest is actually the culmination, the seal on this massive transformative act. And I see a quote here from the Vesperal Liturgy that captures this perfectly. It
Huh.
says, "This is the blessed Sabbath. This is the day of rest on which the only begotten Son of God rested from all his works."
Yes, it underlines that sense of completion, doesn't it?
It really does.
And, thinking bigger picture, this rest, this Sabbath rest, it's not the end point. It's actually a necessary step towards the ultimate victory,
Which brings us, I suppose, to the absolute core teaching about Holy Saturday.
the descent into Hades.
Right. The understanding that while Christ's physical body was in the tomb, his soul descended into, well, the realm of the dead, into Hades.
hmm
But our source material is really emphatic on this point. He didn't go there as like some sort of helpless spirit or victim.
Oh, absolutely crucial point.
Mm.
He descended as a conqueror.
A conqueror.
Yes, this wasn't part of his suffering continuing or some kind of defeat. It was an active, powerful invasion, you might say, into the very stronghold of death.
So life itself entering the domain of death.
Exactly. Think about that pure divine life stepping into the place defined by the absence of life. Some might argue, wasn't this just more suffering? But the tradition is clear. It was a triumphant act. He went there to liberate.
To liberate. Okay, so it wasn't just about being present in Hades. There's a clear objective, a mission.
Oh, definitely. The Orthodox understanding is that Christ went specifically to seek out Adam, representing all of humanity,
Mm-hmm.
everyone held captive by sin and death since the very beginning.
Right.
His arrival was the ultimate rescue mission, bringing the light of salvation, the possibility of freedom into that darkness where humanity was held. It's fundamentally about reclaiming us.
Reclaiming humanity from death's grip. And this explains why the traditional Orthodox icon of the resurrection, the anastasis, looks quite different from many Western images.
It really does. It's striking.
It doesn't usually focus on him coming out of the empty tomb, does it?
No, typically not. What's
Yep.
central to the icon is Christ, often in brilliant white, standing over shattered gates, the gates of Hades, and actively pulling Adam and Eve up from the depths.
Pulling them up.
Yeah, pulling them physically, forcefully out of the grave. This image just powerfully screams the core message of Holy Saturday. The victory wasn't just his personal rising, but the liberation of all humanity from death's bondage.
So the empty tomb is more like the evidence, the result of this deeper victory won in Hades.
Beautifully put. The empty tomb confirms the victory that happened within the realm of death on Holy Saturday.
That really shifts the whole perspective, doesn't it? It's about this active, decisive trampling down of death. And that makes the Paschal proclamation even more powerful. Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death.
And upon those in the tombs bestowing life.
Yes.
It's so direct, so forceful, it declares the outcome of that descent.
And this victory, this trampling, it's reflected liturgically too, right? In the service for Holy Saturday itself,
It is, absolutely, in the Vesperal Divine Liturgy of Holy Saturday.
which interestingly is often served in the morning. That's a bit unusual for Vespers, isn't it?
It is unusual, and that timing itself signals something unique is happening.
Okay, so tell us about this liturgy, a liturgy of light happening right in the midst of darkness, essentially.
Well, what's really significant is its transitional nature. It's a bridge service. It starts very much in the somber mood of Lent. The hymns, the readings, the dark vestments, they all reflect the gravity of the crucifixion and burial.
Right.
But then, as the liturgy progresses, you feel this definite shift. There's a growing anticipation, a movement towards the light of Pascha. It takes you on that journey.
And our sources mention, wow, 15 Old Testament readings. That's a lot. Why so many? What's their role?
Yeah, 15 readings. It's quite something. They aren't just random stories, though. They're very carefully chosen.
Yeah.
They function as prefigurations, like prophetic signposts, pointing towards Christ's ultimate act of salvation. Think about the crossing of the Red Sea.
Deliverance from slavery.
Exactly. Or Jonah coming out of the belly of the whale after 3 days.
A clear foreshadowing of the resurrection.
Right. Or the 3 holy youths in the fiery furnace who were saved from death.
Victory over destruction.
Precisely. So these readings build this incredible historical and theological foundation, showing God's saving plan unfolding through time, culminating in Christ.
So it's like this epic buildup leading to a really pivotal moment within the liturgy itself. I read about the changing of the vestments from dark to
Yeah.
bright white.
Yes, that's a hugely significant moment. Visually, dramatically, it enacts the transition. The clergy remove the dark Lenten vestments and put on brilliant white ones.
Wow.
It's a tangible symbol of the victory won in Hades, the light overcoming the darkness. And right after that, the priest makes this powerful proclamation, "Arise, O God, and judge the earth."
A call for the resurrection to be manifest. And sometimes laurel leaves are tossed around then too. What's that about?
Yes, the laurel leaves. They're an ancient symbol of victory, of triumph. So tossing them is like scattering the signs of Christ's conquest over death throughout the church, throughout the world. It's a celebratory gesture, even before Pascha fully dawns. It proclaims that the tomb, death's prison, has become the source of life.
This brings us to another really fascinating concept mentioned in the sources. Joyful sorrow, or the Greek term sarmilpai, harmolipi. It sounds like a complete paradox.
It absolutely is a paradox, and it's perhaps the key to understanding the unique emotional tone, the feel of Holy Saturday. The word itself, like you said, sarmospi, combines chara, joy, and lipi,
Sorrow.
joy and sorrow together. Exactly. It's not just mourning because, well, we know Sunday is coming. We have the hope of the resurrection.
Right.
But it's also not full-blown celebration yet. Christ is still physically in the tomb. So it's this state of watchful expectation, attention, holding both the sorrow for his death and the bright dawning hope of his rising simultaneously.
And there's a beautiful example of this in the hymns, isn't there? This sort of dialogue between Christ in the tomb and his mother, the Theotokos.
Oh, yes, the Lamentation service contains these incredibly moving poetic dialogues. You hear Christ comforting his mother from the tomb, saying things like, "Weep not for me, O mother, I shall rise and shall be glorified."
Wow, from the tomb.
Yes. And then you hear her grief, her love, but also her dawning understanding. And Christ again, "By mine own will the earth covers me, O mother, but I shall rise again and magnify thee." It captures that blend perfectly, the reality of grief interwoven with the absolute certainty of victory.
It's like the sorrow isn't just ignored or pushed aside. It's acknowledged, felt deeply, but it's also being transformed, transfigured by the light of the coming joy. It's very nuanced.
That's exactly it. Transfigured is the perfect word. The sorrow is real, but it doesn't have the last word. It's held within the greater reality of the resurrection. And this unique character, this joyful sorrow, is embodied in some ancient and powerful rituals too.
Right, like the Lamentations at the tomb, sung around the epitaphios. You mentioned that it's a cloth icon showing Christ's body prepared for burial.
Yes, the epitaphios. It's often richly embroidered, very beautiful. And the service, often held on Friday night or Saturday morning, involves the faithful gathering around it, usually placed on a decorated bier representing the tomb.
And singing these Lamentations by candlelight, it sounds incredibly moving.
It is profoundly moving. The candlelight pierces the darkness, symbolizing Christ, the light, present even in death. The hymns express grief, love, awe. It's a communal participation in the mourning of the disciples and the Mother of God.
And then there's the sprinkling with rosewater and
Yeah.
the procession. What do those signify?
The rosewater, or sometimes flower petals, evokes the spices and perfumes the myrrh-bearing women intended to bring to anoint Christ's body on Sunday morning. It hints at loving care, and also perhaps the fragrance of incorruption, of life.
Ah, okay.
That the procession, where the epitaphios is carried around the outside of the church, is like a symbolic funeral procession,
A funeral, but
but one undertaken with the absolute unwavering hope of the resurrection. It's a final farewell to the entombed Christ, but it's filled with the tension of imminent victory. It's sorrowful, yet expectant.
and the scriptures read during these Holy Saturday services, I saw mentions of Ezekiel, Corinthians, Galatians, Matthew. They seem quite diverse. Is there a common thread?
There is. If you look closely, the readings chosen for Holy Saturday consistently focus on themes of new life, transformation, redemption, the breaking of old bonds, and God's promises being fulfilled.
Okay.
For instance, you might hear Ezekiel's vision of the dry bones coming to life.
A powerful image of resurrection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or passages from Paul in Corinthians or Galatians talking about the new creation in Christ, freedom from sin, the old covenant passing away. They all reinforce that even in this moment of death, God is powerfully working towards renewal.
And then there's that line from the cherubic hymn used during the liturgy, "Let all mortal flesh keep silence." Just reading it gives you pause.
Oh, it's incredibly powerful. It's sung very slowly, very solemnly. It's a call for the entire created order, for all humanity, to fall silent in awe and reverence before the mystery that's unfolding.
Like the world holding its breath.
Precisely. It's a moment to just stand back and contemplate the sheer immensity of God's saving act taking place in the hiddenness of the tomb.
So when we pull all these threads together, the Blessed Sabbath, the descent, the liturgy, the joyful sorrow, the rituals, why does Holy Saturday ultimately matter so much? It's clearly more than just the day before Easter.
Oh, far, far more.
Yeah.
One of our sources calls it the hinge of history, and I think that's a brilliant
The
description.
hinge of history.
Yes, it's this pivotal, silent, yet incredibly active moment where the seemingly ultimate power, death itself, is being fundamentally undone, conquered from the inside out.
Right?
Remember what St. Paul wrote, God was in Christ reconciling the world to himself, 2 Quarter 5.99.
Hmm.
Holy Saturday is perhaps the most profound illustration of that. It tells us that even in the deepest silence, in what looks like absence or defeat, God is intensely powerfully at work.
So the victory isn't just proclaimed on Sunday, it's actually being forged, won, in the silence of Saturday, in the heart of the tomb.
It's exactly right. Through Christ's descent, Hades is, as the hymns say, plundered. Its gates are shattered. Death itself is defeated at its very root. And this is why the Church can proclaim with such incredible confidence, "Let all creation rejoice. Christ has shattered the gates of brass."
Wow. The consequences are cosmic. It's not just about one person, it's about all of creation being renewed.
That's the scale of it. It's a new beginning for everything.
So it seems to really grasp the sheer, uncontainable joy of Pascha. We almost need to sit with the depth and mystery of Holy Saturday first.
I think that's absolutely true.
It's not just a pause button. It's the cosmic Sabbath, where Christ's rest in the tomb is this incredibly powerful act that literally shakes the foundations of death and hell.
Perfectly said. The joy of the resurrection isn't diminished by understanding Holy Saturday. It's magnified. You realize the depth of the darkness he entered and the totality of the victory he won there, not with a loud shout initially, but in that profound world-altering rest.
So as we finish this deep dive into Great and Holy Saturday, the message that really echoes is that core Paschal hymn. Christ has trampled down death by death, and in his rest, he has made all things new.
Yes. And perhaps that leaves us with a thought for you, our listener, to maybe ponder.
Okay.
Consider the moments in your own life that feel like periods of silence, inactivity, maybe even waiting or darkness. Could it be that sometimes those seemingly quiet, unproductive times are actually the very spaces where the most profound change, the most potent new beginnings are being forged, much like the silent victory that unfolded in the tomb on that great and holy Saturday?